Welcome back to another episode of The Conscious Artist, a safe space for conversations around mental health awareness for musicians, artists, and all human beings. I am your host, Pallavi Mahidara. I'm a concert pianist and teacher, and I am absolutely thrilled that you are joining us today. My hope for this show is that it will give all of us a sense of solidarity and knowledge that we are not alone, and together, through these conversations, we can create more awareness and change for a healthier future. I am grateful to my guest today for being willing to share her story. She is a wonderful violist, a kind human being, and an incredible friend. But behind her sunny and light exterior, she has had to deal with some extremely difficult times, and I admire her endlessly for her bravery, courage, and strength in tackling these issues head on. So please join me in welcoming my dear friend, Marina Naredo, to The Conscious Artist. Marina, thank you for being here with us today.
Hi, Pallavi. Such a pleasure to be here today. I'm so grateful.
The pleasure is all mine. Today's topic is something that is actually hardly spoken about in the classical music world, but it is such a common issue in the world of women in particular. So I thank you truly for being willing to speak about it today. If you don't mind, could you share with us about your past eating disorder and what happened?
Absolutely. That's a really good question because it was a long time ago. I was 14 and that was such a hard time because, I recently had my period. I had breasts. I started having curves and it was quite difficult to accept my body. And all this society pressure, like what you have to fit in this model shape and skinny. And then I started being concerned about my body. And I had a tremendous fear of gaining weight. I don't know why, because I was healthy. I was doing great. And then I started having this big fear of gaining weight. In my brain, I said, okay, let's try to eat healthy. Let's try to be healthy. And then everything is going to be in place. So I start avoiding some food. So I shouldn't eat that. And just slowly I started eating less. And that was really hard because also the emotions were there. And I started losing a lot of weight to one point that I lost 12 kilos. And my mood, my emotions were not okay. And I had pain in my body, in my soul. And then it was really a critical situation. And my parents, they spoke with a friend of us. She's a doctor because they were really concerned. I knew that something was going on, but I was not sure what exactly because, I was not like, of course, perhaps I lost a little bit of weight, but I'm okay. But I was not okay. And they spoke with this friend of us. She ran some tests, and I think she saw something that she didn't like at all. So she spoke with my parents. As I said, I was 14 years old. And my parents told me, we are going to the hospital. It's nothing serious. We are just going to run a heart test just to be sure that everything is in place. And I was like, okay, fine. I did a test. It was an electrocardiogram. I was fine. And then my parents told me, we are going to go upstairs to, we have to do something. And I was, okay, fine. And then suddenly I was in psychiatry and I was like, what I'm doing here? What's wrong? And suddenly the room was full of doctors, of psychologists. And I'm not understanding. I was really disoriented and I didn't know what's going on. And then we sat and there was a table full of doctors and they say, okay, we have to speak with you and with your parents. And they said, okay, your daughter, we ran a lot of tests, also blood tests. And basically your daughter is dying because her heart is not working well. It's too slow. Her liver it's not doing okay, and all the blood tests are a mess. So we need to hospitalize her today. And at that moment, when I saw my parents crying, it's when I realized, okay, something is going on. Something happens. I was not sure what, but I said, okay, that's it. And then I was hospitalized that day. And yeah, because I had a severe eating disorder, I had to stay there for more than 1 month, and then more years, because it was not just 1 month. It took me several years to go over it.
First of all, thank you so much for sharing this. Thank you for trusting me. I know that we have a very deep friendship, but this is not an easy topic. And I am just in awe of your bravery and your strength. I know that this is not the only thing you've overcome. And I want to talk about the other things as well today. But to go back to this, I think eating disorders can be one of the scariest silent enemies, because it can start so innocently. Like you said, it's just a matter of, oh, I want to eat healthy, or, oh, maybe I want to lose a little weight, or maybe I want to gain a little bit of muscle, or I want to tone this part of my body a little. Oh, well, I can see that eating chips is not good, so okay, I'm going to cut out carbs. Oh, I can see that eating so much chocolate isn't good, so now I'm going to cut out sugar. And it can so easily turn into this very extreme spiral without even the awareness that it's happening, like you said. Like I said earlier, we don't really talk about this in our industry, but we as women have always a lot of pressure to quote unquote look good on stage, for auditions. Oh, well, if you don't look good, no one wants to see you on stage. How many times as women have we heard that? Did you feel a sense of relief in some way when you realized that you were getting professional help? Although I understand you said you didn't really know what was going on, but was there any part of you that felt in a way some sort of relief? Because I know that going through this kind of disorder or an addiction or something like this, we're trapped inside that. And even if we know it's not healthy for us, many times we don't know how to get out.
Yes, I was relieved, but at the same time, I was really scared. My sick part was really scared because I knew it was going to be a hard journey. And I knew that I had to take care of myself and I had to eat. And I was so scared of it. I was so scared of gaining weight, and I didn't want to because I was sick. One part of me that was suffering so much, that wanted to get rid of this sick part of this eating disorder, was so happy because I was seeing a little bit of light, because I was, as you said one word that I really like it. This is a silent disorder, because sometimes you start like, yeah, I'm going to do this, that, and that's it. So I suffered for a long time alone, and no one could know it, That was really hard. And when I could see that I have some doctors' support, that was so nice to have this help. But at the same time, I was really afraid because I knew I had to confront this situation, and I had to accept also that I had a problem, that I was sick and that I have an eating disorder. And in order to fight this, you have to eat. And you have to be in this situation that it's really hard.
Acceptance is the first step of any battle, right? I think you said it so beautifully. In order to fight it, you have to accept that you have a problem. And whether it's a disorder or anxiety or depression, any sort of mental health issue, because at the end of the day, even an eating disorder is a mental health issue. In any sort of mental health situation, it's really scary to know that no one else can fight that battle for you. You can have the support, you can have the professional help, you can have your parents, your friends, partner, child, whoever, but no one can fight it for you. You have to get out of that void yourself And I think that is the scariest climb to the surface anyone can take, but it's also the most courageous. And I see your strength. I've known you not even for such a long time, but your strength is so inspirational. Truly. It has been like that since the day we met. And I'm really thankful to you for sharing this story, because I know that you are not alone in this. I know that there are many silent battles being fought with this throughout our industry and throughout many other entertainment and arts industries. But you said something earlier that I want to go back to, which was about what the doctors were saying, not only about your heart and your liver, but also your hormonal imbalances. And this is something that I think we're not taught, that what we eat directly affects our hormones and therefore directly affects our mental health. What has your process been like through the recovery and post-recovery about learning your body, learning your own hormones, and recognizing what is good for you, what works for you, what makes you feel good and makes you feel like you're taking care of yourself?
First of all, I want to say, because of this eating disorder, I don't have the period for 1 year. And I was really scared, because one of my biggest dreams in life is to be a mom. And I was really scared of it. That was one thing that I was really scared, because at one point I thought, I'm not going to be able to have kids because I'm so sick that I'm running out of energy and everything, so I cannot have the period. It was really complicated to learn what was good for me, also with the hormones, because after that I had a depression and my body and my mind were upside down. I was like a cocktail. You know, this bottle when you do the cocktail, that was me. And it took me years. Everything then fell into place. And I can tell that I found a balance between food, sport, and also pleasure. You know, I can tell that it took me like 12 years to really fight this eating disorder, like to say I'm recovered. And I found with this, sometimes also with the hormones, it's crazy. I get really, I don't know, like disappointed, or I get mad at myself. And it's been also a process of loving myself the way I am. If I don't like something about me, about my body, I try to see it with perspective. Is it okay? Why I don't like it? I would say life is about balance. And I really needed to find a balance between, as I say, food, sport, and pleasure, because you can eat healthy, you can do sports. My goal is to be healthy, not to have back pain, to have energy. But at the same time, if I want to eat a cake, I'm going to eat it, because that is healthy also for my mind. And life is not about what is perfection. A skinny body, that is perfection. I'm so sorry, but no. If you're healthy and you're happy, that is the most important thing for me in life. But that's with my whole life, also with my friends, with people, that's it. And that, I think that's balance. Balance is key.
I could not agree more, truly. Balance, moderation, all of this is so important in life. And I love the way you said this. It's a balance between food, exercise, and pleasure. Like you said, we're conditioned to think that we have to look a certain way, especially as women. We're conditioned to feel that if we can't fit into these clothes, oh, well, then we're fat. Everyone has different body shapes. So I don't know, on my body, certain cuts of a dress or a skirt, they don't look good on my body. I mean, I could wear them if I wanted to, but I think there are other things that look more flattering that I feel more comfortable in. Why should I try to conform to something else that is meant for someone who is from a completely different continent, different culture, different race? Do you know what I mean? So this kind of societal pressure boxing us in to all conform and feel and look the same. You know, we've talked about this a lot, but through therapy for me, it's been day by day, week by week, month by month, year by year in the last couple of years, breaking free from those conformities. And I see how you've done it. I see how you've fought those battles. I see how you've broken free from those constraints. And truly, like I really, 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 truly admire your resilience, your strength. And I just love the way you kept saying balance. And I want to slightly veer into a new but related topic. You mentioned about exercising and not having back pain. And I know that part of the reason you're so adamant about exercising now is because you've actually dealt with an injury that's been a bit of a hindrance in your own professional life as a violist and in your career. And the way I've seen you deal with that and grow through that and not survive, but thrive through that is so inspiring. So if you wouldn't mind, could you share also a little bit about this and what happened?
Yes, absolutely. That was 2019. So I was in a really good moment in my career. I was really happy. I had a contract with an orchestra. I was studying my master studies with a teacher that I really admire. And I was living a beautiful moment, and I was a little bit stressed out, but I was really happy. And one day I started feeling really strange feelings. And I had a concert. We played Tchaikovsky Fifth Symphony. When I finished the concert, I was like, okay, there's something going on. I'm not feeling well. I feel strange. And that was, I can tell you, that was the 24th November 2019. And from that day, I didn't play the viola more than 1 year because I couldn't. I was in so much pain. I could feel like electric pulses. It was, but from my finger to my neck, it was really, really, really painful that sometimes I could not sleep. And the problem also was that like 3 months later came the Corona time. And also the problem was that I visited a lot of doctors, physiotherapists, and they told me, I don't know, everything is fine. You don't have any injury. Everything is okay with you. And I was like, I'm so sorry that it's not true. I cannot play. I cannot brush my teeth. I was having pain the whole time. And I had also the feeling that I lost my identity because I'm the only musician in my family and my friends. And then I was suddenly just Marina. And I was like, I've been playing viola for 17 years. I was doing auditions for orchestras. Everything was quite nice. And I lost it. And I was having no answers. I said, okay, I'm going to wait. So I said, if in March 2021 I'm not playing viola, I'm going to study another degree because I cannot deal with it. I was like depressive, also with a lot of pain. And then in January, and a friend of mine told me, why don't you with Daniel? Because he's such a good physiotherapist. I was like, okay, let's do it. I had no hope. I was hopeless. And I told him all my story, and I was like, I don't know what's going on. And he told me, okay, let's see. And then he used a machine. I don't know what was that. He told me, Marina, your body's okay, but your nerve system is broken. You are overreacting. Like your nerve system, it's working too much. So I have an injury in my nerve system. And sometimes when you have, for example, in the left arm, the pain in the left side of my body. And 1 year later, I started having this pain in the right part of my body because of the mirror effect of the brain. That's why. And when I told Daniel, he told me like that it's a problem. That was really difficult because I don't have tendinitis or something like that. Because also my brain was sending my body like wrong instructions. Like my brain said, you are really sick. And I was not that sick. I was okay. I had an injury in my nerve system, but my nerve system was overreacting so much that he was making me feeling worse than I was. So I had to re-educate my body and my mind. I had to fool a little bit my brain, because sometimes, okay, I started playing like 5 minutes, not more than that. And sometimes I continued having pain, but sometimes no, I continued playing and my body was like, okay, that was not that bad. So then when that was really hard, when I had to keep playing, but I had a lot of pain. And that was really challenging for me, and also to then afterwards to continue my master's studies, not playing so many hours as my classmates. That was really hard.
Oh my goodness. So, if I've understood correctly, essentially your brain was sending pain signals to your nerves and your muscles saying that you were having pain, but in reality, you weren't experiencing pain, or it was kind of half and half?
It was kind of half and half because I have like an inflammation in my nerves in one part here in the neck. And the other part was overreacting. That the other part was my brain sending this kind of alert that you are doing worse than you are.
Like a sort of fight or flight response from your body.
Exactly. I had an injury. The other half was my brain overreacting.
Have you ever wondered if the injury had any relation to do with your previous eating disorder and anything that may have had lasting effects from not getting enough nutrients or not having a balanced diet, or it affecting your hormones or your muscles or different organs in your body?
Yes, I mean, such a good question, Pallavi, because there are two things that I want to speak about. The first one is that I'm not that strong, okay? I don't have that much muscles. So I had also with Danielle, I have to train every week, at least 3. I have like a planning for my injury, and it's working really well. I'm really happy. And the other thing is what you say is related to the eating disorder. Yes, but I'm going to tell you about why. It's not much about like food. It's about the mental part. What I'm talking about is the eating disorder mostly comes from, okay, I want the external validation. I want the love of the people. I want the people to love me. And that's also a little bit the same. I think my body and my mind, it just broke because I was really happy with my life at that point. But at the same time, I was really stressed. And I'm really perfectionist. So I wanted to do everything perfect. Why? Because, okay, it feels good when you play well. Yeah, of course. But also because you want the people to love you. You want the people to like you. You want to hear, oh, you've played so well. You did such a great job. That is the same with the eating disorder. You want the people to tell you, oh, you look beautiful. You are attractive. I thought about it so many times about the relationship between music or eating disorder, and this world is really challenging. We are taught that we have to be the best, and afterwards all the things I went through, I learned something that it's my mantra, and it's I'm going to try to make the best version of myself. I'm trying really hard not to compare to the other ones because I know my situation. I know what I can do. I know what I went through. And I have no idea your situation. How are you doing? So I cannot compare myself to yourself because we are not the same person. Right. And I think that is beautiful. That is the most beautiful thing in the world because I learned something from you, you learned something from me, and with the eating disorder, with the injury, as I told you, when I went to because my classmates they play amazingly. And it was really hard to see, okay, I'm playing just 1 hour and they're playing 4, 5, 6 hours. How am I going to be in this class? And I was like, Marina, 1 year ago, you were not playing viola. And now you're playing it. Okay, you can do it better. I don't care. So one thing, don't look for the future like, okay, for example, you have a way 100 kilometers. Okay, I'm in the kilometer number 3. I still have to run 97 kilometers. Then you are going to be really stressed and it's going to be a nightmare. And then I said, Marina, don't do it. Marina, you just ran 3 kilometers. You're amazing. And that changed my mind. And I think that is one of the things that helped me the most with the eating disorder and with the injury, not to compare to the others, just try to bring to the wall my better version, to challenge myself in a healthy way and not look too far away. Just the path I walked and how much I grew up. That is the most important thing and my goal in life, really.
This is so beautiful. And I know we've spoken about this, but every time we speak about this, every time you share, and today, I mean, my heart is just filled with so much joy and so much admiration for you, truly. You've mentioned this many times when we meet, when we talk, that you don't worry about how far you have to go ahead, but you celebrate how far you've come. And this is such a powerful reminder that every single step that we take is a huge win. And it's okay if sometimes it's 1 step forward and 2 steps backwards, because another day it's going to be 3 steps forwards and another day it's going to be 5 steps backwards. And it doesn't matter as long as we're moving, as long as we are trying. And you are the epitome of celebrating your wins, celebrating every single step of the way. And I really, truly thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing all of this with us. I want to ask you one final question. If you could share a piece of advice to your 14-year-old self from where you are today, what would you tell her?
That's a powerful question and a really good one. I would say, Marina, trust yourself. I know it's hard. I know you are really afraid of life and really afraid that you think you are not going to be able to achieve your goals, or you think that you are not enough, but you are. Just trust the process. Don't try to control everything. Try to love yourself and to accept that also your not defects, but your not so beautiful things, or you are not proud of them, are part of you and makes you this way. And I think that it's beautiful because sometimes we try to get rid of them, but at the same time they help us. And trust the process. Everything is going to be okay. And the progress is not linear. Sometimes you go backwards and then you take impulse and then you go, you can do it. You can do it. Love yourself, trust yourself, and try to enjoy the little moments and take care of your beloved ones. Especially try to have a healthy relationship with yourself.
That's so beautiful. Thank you for sharing this. Thank you for being here with us today. You know how much I love talking to you, but this was particularly special. So thank you for sharing so much of your story with us and your strength above all, truly.
It was a pleasure, Pallavi. I mean, I love you so much and I would do it 100 times more.
Thank you all so much for listening. I am truly grateful for the support from each and every one of you. If you would like to submit any questions or topics for us to address on the show, you can send us a message on our Instagram page @ConsciousArtistPodcast. Help us to spread more awareness by sharing this episode with your friends, your colleagues, your teachers, and your students. And don't forget to subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. Sending you all so much love and strength to tackle this week, and we'll see you next Monday for another episode of The Conscious Artist.